Hey guys, welcome to a special edition of Checkerboard Chat this week. This is Trenton Duffer, and that's Rob Harvey. The other day, a athletic director was hired here at the University of Tennessee, and we're going to talk about that. But first, we'd like to give a shout out to a sponsor, Grand Forest Apartments, located at 1701 Forest Avenue. With over 30 years of experience in managing student apartments on or near college campuses, Grand Forest Apartments offers students at the University of Tennessee affordable luxury housing within walking distance of UT. So thank you to Grand Forest Apartments for sponsoring Checkerboard Chat, and let's dive right into this discussion.
Let's do it.
As I said, a new athletic director was added.
Steph Currie.
He's going to help the basketball team.
Youngest athletic director ever.
Yeah, he's helping the basketball team and canceling all other sports. But joking aside, John Currie from Kansas State was hired. So I guess just when you heard the news, what was your first impression?
I didn't know who he was, honestly. I was sitting in my apartment with my roommate, and he was like, "Oh, it looks like it looks like we're looking at the Kansas State guy." Mm-hmm. And then 2 minutes later, we looked on Twitter, and they had hired him. So it was like,
yeah,
I don't know. So I mean, I had no idea who he was. I was kind of surprised that it wasn't Fulmer or the guy from I can't think of his name from the Panthers who had just quit.
Yeah.
I didn't figure it was going to be Blackburn, but I was just kind of surprised by who it was. I think the guy was Morrison, maybe. I think that's the
I think that's his name. Yeah, that's kind of how I was. I know it was actually one of our other writers, Tyler Wombles, who told me about it. I was in class and wasn't on Twitter at the time, and I get a text from, Tyler Wombles, and he's just like, "Hey, man."
I thought we fired him.
I thought we did. We're joking, of course, Tyler, but... I just got a text from him when I was in class, and he was just like, "Hey, man, we just hired a new AD."
Wait, can you do his voice here so we can...
"Hey, man, we just hired a new AD." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Really?" I thought he was joking at first. I thought he was going to, punk me and be like, "It's
Peyton Manning."
Yeah, like Peyton Manning. But, yeah, I mean, I knew nothing about John Currie like Rob.
I mean, I still don't know that much about him. I mean, I don't think a lot of people do yet, but time will tell.
But reading a little bit more into him, he was at Kansas State for 7 years, which, I mean, it's a decent term.
8 years. 2009 to 2017, okay. So technically 8 years.
Technically 8 years. But I think it was for 7 of those years, Kansas State had a surplus in their fund.
Well, I mean, it was all 7 years. Yeah,
it was all 7 years, yeah.
And he got, the largest donation ever there, $60 million. And he got the largest donation at the time here when he was at UT of $50 million. He helped get that. Mm-hmm. And he helped, redesign Pratt, the pavilion. But, yeah, I mean, sounds like he's good with money. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a guy to come in and be, a good financial guy, to, get you out of the red, then, he's a perfect hire. But if you're a Tennessee fan, you may not, who.
I think right now it's just no one knows much about him, so they're rushing to judgments. Mm-hmm. We don't know who this guy is, so he must be terrible, which is not the case. Mm-hmm. I think it's a safe hire. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think the reason they didn't hire Fulmer was because he had no athletic director experience. I think it's good that they hired someone from Tennessee who was there for 10 years. I think it's a little questionable, I guess, that they got someone who was under Mike Hamilton. That kind of surprised me, honestly. Yeah. But he led he was in charge of basketball under Pearl, and I mean, Pearl got in a little bit of trouble, with the lying. But a little bit. But that's not really nobody but Pearl's fault. Pearl's fault for lying about it. But and I mean that was most successful. That was one of the most successful times in Tennessee basketball history. So that's always a plus. Mm-hmm. I think one thing people are seeing that's kind of frightening them is that he supposedly. I mean I don't know any of this. He supposedly was kind of wanting. I wouldn't say led the charge, but helped. He didn't hurt Fulmer getting fired. He kind of. Was pushing for that, and then he was also pushing supposedly for Kiffin to be hired. Yeah. So I think that has left fans a little skeptical and worried, but I don't know.
Yeah, he really didn't push Fulmer out the door, but he opened the door for him to.
Supposedly. We don't know if that's true.
These are all just rumors and hearsay as of now, nothing official of course, has
which I'm
dropped
sure
yet.
he'll never say. Yes, I got rid of Fulmer. It was all me.
Oh yeah, especially now that he's back here.
Yeah, but I don't think Fulmer's going to be showing his face around UT a lot, especially after apparently, supposedly he thought they called him Monday making him think like he had the job, and then it didn't happen. He was the only person to meet with all three, like the UT search committee, the search committee they hired, and then Chancellor Davenport as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a little weird. I think it's fine that they didn't hire him. I wouldn't know how to feel if they had hired him, honestly, because he has no athletic department and like any experience being an athletic director. But it sounds like they kind of let him on, which is kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean,
especially to a guy like Philip Fulmer who they fired.
Yeah, I mean, Fulmer's a good guy. I mean, you don't want to, and with anybody, you don't want to just lead them on and make them think, oh, you've got the job, and then last minute just, take their feet out from under them. So, yeah,
it was weird. I don't ever think Blackburn was really under that serious consideration. Honestly.
I think he was interviewed by. I think it was the search firm the same day.
Well, I thought it was. Yeah, I think it was the search firm, but that was it. I think. Yeah. But so I don't know. I don't know if he was heavily considered, which kind of, if you're a Tennessee fan, that kind of is worrisome, just because he seems like he'll do great things at UTC. I'm from Chattanooga, so I'm kind of glad he stays at UTC, because he's helped build them up a lot. I mean, their basketball program is good. He helped build the football program back to where it is now. Yeah. So it was kind of a little puzzling why they didn't pursue him more. Apparently the boosters didn't just like. The people he thought he had behind his back weren't actually supporting him. And so, I don't know, kind of weird.
Yeah, the way they handled the Blackburn, hiring, I don't know. I feel like they could have, I think they could have reached out to him more, even if maybe he just didn't want it. Maybe, well,
I think he wanted it. I'm pretty sure he wanted it.
At the same time, like, he seemed like he did, but I don't know. I can't really speak for him. So, I mean, who knows, really? But so Currie is now in here.
He'll be April 1st. Will be his first day.
April Fool's Day.
Oh gosh,
they're gonna pull a big. They're gonna pull.
It's gonna be a big prank. Yeah, it's not actually gonna be him.
It's actually gonna be Fulmer. We're good friends now. So
he's my number 2. What?
What's one of the things that you think he should prioritize in? Like, what's the main focus right now for John Currie?
Well, I don't know. I think he needs to. I don't know. I mean, he's gonna probably have to worry some about coaches immediately as he gets in, because you got Serrano. Who knows what's going to happen with him? He's got a 1-year contract, so no matter what, he's going to have to deal with that contract, with either telling him we're not going to sign you back, or giving him a new contract. You got to deal with football. Who knows what the heck's going to happen? I mean, I think if you're the Tennessee athletic director, no matter what, football is your top priority, just because.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I think, and especially with a make or break year coming up, so I mean, that'll be his number 1. That was Hart's number 1. That was Mike Hamilton's number 1. That was everyone's number 1. So I mean that'll be what is his number 1 thing. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's gonna have to really keep an eye on Butch and just the football team. Program.
Football and baseball are kind of the 2 sports right now that stick out to me anyway. That. Could potentially see.
Honestly, and a sport no one's really talking about, maybe men's tennis, just because they've underperformed a lot.
They have. They've underperformed a little bit.
I mean, they didn't win a conference match last year. I mean, they're okay this year. I don't know how good they are, but I mean, not a lot of people really honestly care about that. I mean, there are people who care about that. Don't get me wrong. But
I mean, the sports. I mean, you've got your sports that are like definitely safe, like men's basketball. I don't see them any reason why.
Unless Barnes retires. That's the only thing I can see. Women's basketball, which a lot of people want, but no.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Holly's done a great job.
She just brought in the number 1 recruiting class for next year.
So they're not going to get rid of her.
No, they'll give her outside.
I hate to burst people's bubbles because I know they don't like Holly, and I guess I understand it, but at the same time I don't. I don't understand that. Yeah. But I don't think he's going to honestly, if you're Currie, I think you need to make sure you let everyone know that your support is fully behind Holly Warwick, to make sure she's comfortable in that position. Because right now, with Hart retired, I mean, he's still in the athletic director, but he hasn't said anything about it. I mean, there's a lot of people calling for Holly's head, but he hadn't said anything. So I think if you're Currie, you kind of want to put your full support behind her.
Yeah. Yeah, and with Holly, people calling for her head. I mean, that's up and down so much. Like,
they'll
lose to an unranked team and then beat number 3. So, I mean,
softball,
I think,
you don't have to worry about.
Oh no, you don't have to worry about softball.
The weekly,
unless, even if Ralph retires, I mean, who's to say
Karen won't retire?
Yeah, but anyway, about my what I think he should focus on is women's athletics, because that's something that Dave Hart was really, really scrutinized over.
Yeah, that's the thing. People, the one thing, when he retired, people kept talking about was one thing I imagine he wished he had back, and it was the way he handled all of that, with the Title IX and everything.
Yeah, Title IX, and then, and I understand.
And the whole Lady Vols thing.
Yeah, the Lady Vols
which will be interesting. Honestly, that'll be interesting to see what Currie does with that. I wonder if he'll say anything about that publicly.
Because you kind of wondered, when it was announced, you kind of wondered, is this a Nike thing? Are they just not wanting to make, a bunch of Lady Vols gear? But
I mean, the women basketball team stayed Lady Vols. And I know, at the softball games, the fans still chant "Go Lady Vols" and stuff. So I mean, they don't like it, obviously. So
and the soccer games and volleyball, and I mean, really all womenens athletics that I've been to, Lady Vols is still still chanted.
And I get mixed up when I type articles on it, because it's like, oh, wait a second, they're not the Lady Vols anymore, because they have been for forever. So it's just kind of weird. Yeah,
so it will be interesting to see how Currie takes control of all that. And then, like you said, the Title IX lawsuits. They're cleared now and everything's.
But it was just a whole mess. Hart, I don't think Hart handled it the way people wanted him to. And
he didn't, and so it will be interesting to see how he handles that, because that's a big thing for him too.
But I mean, he's a Tennessee guy. He's been here for 10 years. He knows what he's getting himself into. He knows the pressure that, because he was Hamilton's number 1 guy, so he knows the pressure that he's going to have to deal with, and so I think he understands what he's getting himself into. It's a little weird. Another thing from Kansas State that worries some Tennessee fans is the way Frank Martin, left to be South Carolina's basketball coach over Kansas State. But I was reading about that, and apparently the reason was one of the players got wired $500, and Frank Martin wasn't going to do anything, and so Currie suspended the player, and Frank Martin got real mad, and they had a disagreement. Which Currie is right in doing that, because they were getting reviewed by the NCAA, investigated because of it. And then he didn't like Bill Snyder, or Bill Snyder didn't like him because Snyder wanted the equestrian team because his daughter was a rider, but then he got in, and Currie got there and was like, wait, we have equestrian but not women's soccer. So he got rid of equestrian and put in women's soccer, which I think is probably a financially a better thing to do.
Yeah, it really is.
And so, I think the reasons that they did not like him, I think he did the right thing in both of the situations, probably from an athletic director's standpoint. So I don't know. I wouldn't be, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I wouldn't be worried about that.
No, I wouldn't either. And I know, like we've talked about a little bit, his whole relationship with Fulmer, and just how he was here under Hamilton. The way I look at it, when he was here, he was in his 20s. So,
he was in his 20s.
He's in his mid to upper 40s. I think 46.
He's 45.
45. Yeah. So
don't give him an extra year.
Sorry about that. But yeah, he's not just a kid starting out in his 20s.
Right. Anymore. Yeah. And he was like, it's not like he was in those top positions at first either. So so I'm sure because I know a couple people I've seen have questioned his character and the way he acted, but that was, like you said, that was in his 20s. So he's had 20 years to he's had time to adjust his personality and attitude. So
but all the hate he's getting, just to be blunt, he's going to have to get used to it. This is Tennessee.
Welcome to Rocky Top.
Welcome to Vol Nation. But he can handle it. He's a man. He's 40. So he can handle it.
That was Oklahoma State, not Kansas State. Okay.
I know. I quote that any chance I get.
And he's got a new chancellor to work with, so that's
True.
good that you got 2 new people. I know he's
Yeah.
the vice chancellor now too, so
He is.
that will. I think that'll honestly benefit him because they're
Yeah.
both will be learning, so they can go to each other about things instead of you having somebody like Jimmy Cheek who's been there for forever. I mean, not forever, for a while, who might not help him as much because he knows everything, so he just assumes. And so I think that'll be good. And I know Davenport interviewed him, wanted him to be there, and I know the committee. Although it wasn't unanimous, supposedly. I don't know if that's true. It wasn't unanimous. That was the candidate they wanted.
Yeah.
So, and I heard that Peyton is going to be at the press conference and is to show that he's very supportive of it. But I wonder if it wasn't unanimous, if he was one of the ones who said no. So
it's interesting to think about.
Because apparently, this is all supposedly too. I just read all this stuff.
Yeah.
When the committee interviewed, when the Tennessee committee with Peyton, Jimmy Haslam, and people like that interviewed Currie, they weren't all there. So I wonder who wasn't there. Apparently Jimmy Haslam was big supporter of which makes sense because Haslam, if Fulmer did, he did lead the charge in Fulmer, him and Haslam would have been working hand in hand there because for a fact Jimmy Haslam was wanting Fulmer to be gone.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, apparently Jimmy Haslam was really supportive of him, and but yeah, it's just interesting if it wasn't unanimous. That's kind of weird that they'd hire someone who wasn't unanimous.
Yeah. Tomorrow's press conference is what is it? 5?
Well, they have an opening remarks thing, which is just a big hoopla at 4:30, so that'll last 30 minutes, and then there's a press conference at 5 where we'll really get to see who he is. But I don't know what to. I expect him to. I don't know what to expect, honestly.
I don't either.
Just because I don't know much about him, I don't really know what to expect will come out of his press conference. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say and what sides he takes on it. I wonder if he'll discuss. If he is asked the former thing, which I'm sure he'll be asked about.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder what he'll say. Like, if he'll try and dodge the question or if he'll be blunt. It would be in his best interest to be blunt about it. Because if he's already dodging media his first day in, that's not a good look. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I imagine he'll try and put some confidence in the fan base. Usually Tennessee people are pretty good at opening press conference. Derek Dooley was good at it.
Dooley was great.
Dooley was great at his introductory.
He made me a believer.
Kiffin
for
wasn't
3
very
games.
good. Kiffin, he said some stupid stuff, but Butch had a good opening press conference. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be.
I imagine it'll be a good press conference for the fan base. Probably.
It will. It'll be a good fan, but I think it'll be a mixed.
It'll be a morale booster, maybe. Yeah. No, because I understand. Knowing Tennessee fans, they'll probably be like, "Oh, he's just doing this for show. This isn't really blah blah blah."
Yeah, or he'll say 49 good things and then one bad thing,
and
then they'll just hammer him for that one bad thing. So
I wonder if he'll touch the Lady Vols situation. He might.
Yeah, he might. He may wait. He may wait until he's
apparently.
In here,
I read this today. Apparently, Allison Ojeda, the women's tennis coach, he tried to get her at Kansas State, but she wouldn't do it. And now they're ranked 12th in the nation. So obviously, and they were bad last year, and it's like the same team. Yeah. And they were ranked 12th in the nation. So obviously, he has a good taste in maybe people to hire. And Bruce Weber's done a good job at Kansas State too. So I'm sure he has connections. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
probably.
I agree. I think it'll be fun. So. We have a story coming out on that whole press conference in Friday's paper, so be sure to check that out. And I think that's all we have time for. We just want to thank Grand Forest Apartments again for supporting us. Again, that address is 1701 Forest Avenue, so check those out. And again, thank you for sponsoring us in this Checkerboard Chat. And we'll see you guys again on Monday.